Well, we got a little rain. I came up here about 2 hours ago and my ditch was still dumping down into the creek, and the creek was probably four feet at least to the top of the bank. And in a matter of an hour and a half, it's flooded the bottom, in which the waters went down. It was all the way across the road about 20 minutes ago, and I just now made it up here, but she's put the rain down. Now that's a 36-inch tile coming from my overflow over there. And I looked this morning, the overflow was carrying the water good, but when the creek is as high as the top of the pipe and it can't get away fast enough, you end up with this. So I need to think that through, but there ain't nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. But needless to say, we got some rain. Hello everyone. Well, to say we got a rain is an understatement. We had a flood. But as you've seen from that little clip I just showed you, it put down the rain. So here's the aftermath. We had quite a bit of debris wash over here, the overflow, which I'm going to have a trash rack and everything here to keep that stuff from doing that. That's just, we'll get to it eventually. But this is going to get built on up around the overflow when I fix all my banks and get everything done. But we had some logs float down here, sticks, but it washed through across the road here, and then it took my gravel and put it back down there in the drainage ditch. So it's amazing. I was up here within probably, in that clip I said an hour and a half, probably 30 minutes. This creek looked like this at probably 9 o'clock, or this drainage ditch looked like that at about 9 o'clock. And as a guy called me at, I don't know, 10:15, and it was already, it had flooded this whole bottom. When I was here, the water had always went down. But I'll put a clip in here of a picture he sent me, but it was all the way across the road here. So needless to say, we got some rain, but I think the overflow would carry it. I mean, I think it would handle the water, but the problem was the creek backed up, and it was actually flush up over the top of the outlet down here on this end. So it just didn't have anywhere to go. So even if it didn't have the pond, it was just a ditch, I think the water was going to have been backed up in here probably across my road anyway, because I'd still had to brought it through a tile. So anyway, it ain't nothing you can do. It just is what it is. So I'll have to get everything put back together and get some more rock, and when the weather dries up, we're gonna fix all this around the pond. And like I say, I'll raise this on up probably another 6 or 8 inches around this end, and it just beat me to it. But ain't much you can do with water. But I'm gonna go up to the building, we'll see what kind of results we got up there. Well, believe it or not, it rained up here too. You can tell water's pretty much ran through here, which I've not fixed my slope and backfilled against the building on the back side, but where I've stubbed out the conduit and water line running up the hill, it's full of water. I'll take you over on the other side and show you that. I had my plumber up here earlier in the week, and he went ahead and roughed our drain lines in, had everything looking good, and then we've built a moat. So I'm going to get the generator out and stick a little sump pump down in here, and we'll pump the water out, and then go over on the other side and get that ditch pumped down as well. And then we got some projects. We got to get some dust line put in, conduit. I'm gonna go ahead and set the meter box over there, and then put a little sub panel over here so I can line up my conduit from one side to the other. So I'm gonna try to get cleaned up, and then we'll try to get some work done today. All right, she usually cranks in 2 pulls. Let's see if she will today. All right, we got her pump going. I'm curious how long it'll take to pump out of here. Tell you what I may do, I may put a clock on that. If anybody's got any guesses, stick them in the comments. I'm gonna say 30 minutes myself, but who knows. But anyway, we got water flowing away. So, hey, one thing I will tell you, and you probably don't want to listen to my advice very much, but if you're building a building or building a house, I always cringe when you see people brick a house and they don't put nothing down around the base, and then you see that red clay mud beat up to about right here. Anyway, it's preventable, but when you're building, line you up a farmer, bring you 1 round bale of hay, and roll it out around your building. I mean, as much rain as we had, you don't have any mud splattered on the building. I'll show you around here up front where the gravel's at, just where we beat it down. But just look right here, the difference to over here where that hay's down. But if you ever get any advice from me, which it ain't worth much, put your bale of hay down around the base of your building. For one, you got a place to walk when it's muddy, and 2, it'll keep that mud beat off the side of your house or your building. Well, I'm gonna call that good. We've got pretty much all the water out. We've got some draining down here at the bottom. I'll probably let everything drain down here, and I'll dig me a little hole, stick that pump on down in it. But I will give you a hint, it took longer than I thought it would. So put your guesses down in the comments. Next video, I'll let you know who won or who got the closest anyway. But I've got to put, we got to cap all these plumbing lines and then put air on it and see if it holds pressure that way before we cover it up. But man, I'd like to got it covered up before all this hit, but it's washed my, anyway, it's screwed it up. But anyway, it's fixable, and that's what we'll do. So I'm gonna move the pump over to the other side, pump the water out of that ditch, and then I'm gonna take the excavator here and come in here and clean up the floor, and then we'll scoot over here and dig 2 more trenches. But what I want to do is around my post, I've got some of them shoveled out. I want about 6 inches underneath that bottom green board, and that way I'll have room to do what I need to do. But anyway, that's the project at hand. All right, I got the floor sort of scraped down. I'll have to touch a few little places up here and there, but what I'll do, I could take a transit and shoot it all, but I'll probably just take a string line off the bottom of my green board here, and I'll take a string line from one side to the other, come through here and just measure it. I want at least 6 inches off the bottom of that board. That way I've got room to do what I need to do in here. So I've got it pretty good shape. I've got to dig 2 more trenches, and we'll come in here and put the final touches, but I think I've got it pretty good. I wanted to try to get most of it roughed in before I got in here and made a mess with these trenches. That way, with the trench in here, I need to get back on this side. That way I'd have most of it done. So it's in pretty good shape, but I tell you, I'm gonna have to change plans. This water coming in this building is just making a terrible mess. And what my plan was when it was dry enough, I was going to take the topsoil up here on the hill, and I was going to bring it down here and backfill, and then cut a little fall out that end. I'm going to take most of the water that way and not run as much down this way. So, but I've got to stop this water from coming in here, because we got to redo this, reset that pipe, and put a new bed down for it, pack it back in. Then it's over there in my other trench. So I'm going to come out here with a machine, even though it's a muddy mess, and I'm going to start about right here, and I'm going to cut me a trough out the end, and then I can come back when everything dries up and get this dressed up. But I got to stop that water from coming in here on me, so I'm just getting a lot coming down. It's running right in the building. So change of plans, but that's next on the agenda. This is not the weather or the conditions for this, but I'm trying to get this pitched away from the building to where I can get this water to keep from coming in here. But you see what I'm dealing with, and then now it decided it wants to rain again. So the joys of building something in wintertime. Well, I was working my slope down. I was trying to get this to where this was falling and go ahead and get it drugged down. And I had a little mishap. I dropped my tire down in this ditch. And you can see where it hit, but I'll show you the results. If you'll notice that green fluid on the ground, well, that come out of the back tire of that tractor. So I tell you what I believe I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna call it a day. Things ain't going my way. So anyway, crappy conditions, and anyway, that's not what we want. But to add insult to injury, I'll show you one more thing before I go. The tire on the truck is flat. I think I'm gonna call it a day before I knock the building down. So anyway, if you watched, I appreciate it. I got some tires to fix, and here comes the rain again. So I'm gonna take the excavator back there before I go and just touch that back up where I was dragging it down. I about got that sort of slope to where it valleys through there. I had the ditch to where it would have drained out, but me, I've got to go try to make it look pretty. So anyway, that didn't turn out so well, but hey, we'll catch you on another one. Appreciate you watching. Hey, before I go, put your guesses in there on the time on pumping that water out of that hole over there, and I'll let you know who wins the next time.